Trapping out swinging, you know what I mean? Shit crazy, nigga.
The test episode of the Touch of Love Cannabis podcast. We are really we really just set up, so we're just going to talk a little bit. We're gonna tell a couple stories and see where this goes. But this is 30 minutes of having these plugged in and looking at them. So
30 minutes.
We just smoked some peanut butter souffle from Coast Mountain. It was pretty nice.
It was pretty nice. It was from 2021, so as nice as it can be.
For sure.
A little dry, but you know, it is what it is.
The other two jars that we have are much more recent, so
Yeah.
should have some better experiences.
Should have some better moisture. That still rolled up okay, but yeah, we'll have some better moisture. We're going to take it back a little bit and try not to dig too deep and, you know, go off track, but kind of where things started, how this all came about, because in the last couple of years, it's obviously become a second job for a lot of us. And prior, it really was just, what was it? I don't know.
Hobby, man. That's really what it was. They're just something we did for fun.
It was a hobby.
Yeah.
It was a way for me in the beginning to start showcasing like what I liked about the plant, whether that's growing or smoking it. And then from there, Sean came aboard, then you came aboard and kind of touch back at the beginning. So, I mean, basically me and Sean have known each other since I was in grade 5. I don't know how old you are then, 10?
Yeah, about I was like 11.
We were like 11.
Yeah, about 11.
11 years old when I moved out here and started playing ball together. We both tried out at the school by our place, and I seen him walking the street down, and then I just kind of said, "What's up?" And then ever since then, we've been together, bro. We've been hooping. We've done a lot of things in our life, and this recently, where we've connected a little bit more, I would say in the last 4 years maybe. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much after I got back from school, kind of like near the ending of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we can go about Sean going to school another time, because I think that'd be a very interesting avenue to go down. But yeah, we really we were like this. We were together and we were working together and striving for bigger things ever since we were younger.
That's facts, bro. Everything that we did, whether it was selling hats or, you know, grinding Call of Duty, whatever it was, we were just, you know, we put our all into it. So that's the most I can say for that. Even basketball, bro, everything we were doing, playing together as a team on the same team. I was just trying to win, you know.
Always.
Yeah. We became a duo real quick, and a lot of things that we did. And then after high school, things changed. People go their own ways and they do what they need to do. But it just made sense when everything came back together. And that kind of melted back when you came back from school. But Parm is we've known you since high school, so I guess when we were like 14 to 16, something like that.
Played ball together as well.
Yeah, man. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
High school ball those days. And I think Sean and you kind of touched base a little bit more recently.
Yeah.
Approximately 3 to 4 years ago as well.
Yeah, when you were fresh back from school, you know, from UK.
Like when you were back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was kind of funny though. I was working at Tim Hortons at the time, bro. I was just doing like cleaning or whatever, taking out recycling or some bullshit. This guy's in drive-through. I don't know why he rolls down the window. He doesn't even know it's me. Just rolls down the window, starts talking to me. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I think I know this guy. I pulled out my mask. I'm like, bro, what's good?
Nah, I knew it was you straight away. Like that's why I rolled down the window because I seen your eyes or whatever. I'm like, bro, I know this guy. So I was like, I roll my window down. I'm like, yo, and then I just look at him. He looks back at me. It's like a moment of silence, and then he takes down his mask. He's like, oh, what's good? And then it was ever since then, and we've just been, you know, linking up one way or another.
Yeah, man.
And it's been lit, man. It's been a crazy journey. It's just a couple of years. Take it in, and like we've done so much, so many experiences.
Yeah, man.
So it just goes to show, man.
And like, I mean, quickly, because we could talk about this for a long time too, but like cannabis for you, like what was your introduction, Sean? Like you talk about a little bit, like what's brought you to obviously being a very high level connoisseur.
Bro, honestly, it starts off probably very childish, I would say. Like it was just more about just smoking and getting fried. My boys actually introduced me to cannabis in 2018. So before that, we've had a couple experiences here and there, me and Eric, like when we were very young, but nothing really that kind of kept it in my head, I would say. And then a couple years later, we went to a cottage, and I'd never seen this much cannabis in my life, right? I'm like, is it even possible to have this much? You know, so we had it, and the first 5 days I smoked, I slept for 5 days straight. So, but after that, you know, I kind of got a little bit more of a healthy relationship with it. And, you know, we started this Touch of Love project, and it's just brought a lot more, I guess, it's brought a lot more wisdom. So yeah, it's been a great journey, man. And, like, a lot of things have gone down in the last couple of years that we could go into, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So, and we're here now doing this connoisseur type shit.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. Barn, what about you, bro? I know you were smoking a little bit in high school.
Yeah, I started off in like grade 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
A bunch of my friends were doing it, you know, so I was like, shit, why not? But again, it started off childish as well, you know, just trying to get as high as possible.
Yeah.
We didn't
Curiosity, right? Like,
yeah, we just want to see how high we could really get, you know? That was the whole purpose. But then, you know, when I looked more into it, I found that there was actual, like, healing properties to it, you know? Like, actual medicinal things to it. So that just made me want to do it even more, right? Of course, still at the time, like, the CBD and things wasn't as accessible as it is now. It was mostly just, like, whatever you could get,
getting a pack and you're smoking it. Like,
yeah, exactly. So, like, it wasn't until, like, university, I would say, first year, where that was when I started smoking, like, daily. That was when I really went crazy on it. It was like an ounce or two a week type of deal, right?
Yeah.
So
Blunts.
you know, it was mostly blunts, a lot of swishers, hella swishers. But there were some joints too.
Nice.
You know, rarely bong, so it was just a lot of rolls. But yeah, after that, it was actually recently, like when we all started doing this, is really when I got into like the CBD aspect of it, and actually, you know, doing that, mixing it in with the THC, getting into the other cannabinoids. But yeah, that's what it is now. But yeah, back then it was just straight.
And then obviously
Yeah,
like working in a dispensary and yeah, being around just cannabis for a good portion of that time. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, you just like love it more. Did your when you were working at a facility, like, did your love for the plant grow more, or like, because obviously that wasn't something that worked out, and it's not something that you would like to do ever again, but was it something that you got something out of it? You're like, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, I think I would do it again, in a different environment. You know, like if it was like our shit, easily.
Yeah.
You know, 100% I would do it.
Bro, but I think we just have this whole legalization to thank for a lot of things, because we've become a lot more in tune with what's going on with the plant.
Yeah.
And without this, it's just so hard for you to get that information and that knowledge. And yeah, man, I think the legalization has a big aspect to be played.
Yeah, because unfortunately, like the government is who's going to fund the research, right? So if they're not into it, they don't really see a pro with it or a profit, they're not going to go into it.
Then all we have is bro science to fall on.
Yeah, that's why for so long we didn't know shit about the cannabis plant, right? It's just everything we find now is all from like the 90s for the most part.
And a lot of the world still doesn't have the information that we have. Like, it's still very much bro science in a lot of parts.
Yeah.
For 100%. And I mean, bro science is a good thing in a lot of ways too. Like,
A lot of it's facts.
yeah. It's not like to the point of like being 100% factual, but it's getting to the point of being at that. So
I think bro science is just like the easiest way to explain a very scientific like term.
And it's more about like the experiences that people have like had.
Yeah.
Those kind of go a lot of into like bro science.
It's very anecdotal evidence.
It's from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anecdotal.
Yeah.
I would say for myself, it started very young as well. I can honestly say Wiz Khalifa is a huge part of my exposure to cannabis, and just being a fan of him in general. Obviously exposed me to seeing it. And then I've grown up in a family where cannabis was around. So when I was young, I didn't really know what it was. But then as soon as I learned what it was, I was connecting it and I was around it from times. And I was like, why? Like, what's going on? I didn't fully get it yet. I thought it was like a social like party thing. realistically, from seeing it the way I was, but then learning more about it, I was like, oh, it might have something else to it. So I just basically started digging into research when I was younger. Like I've always been somebody to just do research. Like obviously even as a pre-grade 5, maybe like around that time. But when I really started doing research, I guess probably like the end of elementary school. And then that's when I was just like, I need to know more. And then me and Sean smoked for the first time together, and it wasn't really a notable experience. It was kind of just weird. It was probably not in the right setting. Like we could have done it better for sure. We're young kids. We have no idea what we're doing. And then quite a few times after that, I didn't like the effect of it. Once I finally got to feel it, I was like, I don't get this. I don't feel comfortable. Like it was like that for a long time for me. But then the more that I learned and the more that I realized, like from smoking again and consuming again, I started learning about how edibles, because I had edibles very accessible to me for a long time, just right now. And then I started liking edibles, started taking little bits of edibles, and I liked it. Obviously led into smoking, but I think it was just understanding the plant, being comfortable with it. So then I got to the point where it's a part of every day. I use it for a reason. It gets me through my day in a lot of ways, and eases the day. When legalization hit, I needed to hop on, so I ordered something from OCS right away.
Yep.
I actually started growing within, I think, the first 3 months, or maybe 6 months, but I'm going to say 3 months.
You were growing by the time I got back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to smoke some of my first grow ever. The sweet mango is what it was. So that growing part is where I think I started to realize this is like something I want to do. But at that time of my life, I was doing a lot of other things, and I was actually, I don't want to say being pushed, but I was being encouraged to go do other things and like get education and do all this stuff. And once I left that circle is when I started to be able to elevate, because I've never wanted to go to school.
Bro, it's like going to school is such a narrow-minded way to think of being successful. Like,
yeah,
that's
if
no
that's
way
your
in
only
shape,
way
form.
to get there. That's really just like moving up a corporate ladder at the end of the day.
It's not like that at all. People are all built differently. Like
that, which is cool if you want to do that, right? For sure. But like,
It
I feel like for people like us, we're
100%.
that's not really what we want to do.
No, I couldn't do it. And basically I started just learning how to like do things for myself. Like let me like, nobody else is going to do it for me. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't had that type of discipline. I don't think from like my family, and I kind of seeked it, on internet. People, being a huge Kobe fan my whole life, obviously Kobe resonates more with me every day because I just get hungrier and hungrier, and that's nobody's reaching what hunger he had. So I think it's like a motivation in that sense. But cannabis in general, it's obviously something that has been persistent. It's something that Sean said to me when I first came to him with Touch of Love. I don't know if you remember this, but you basically told me when I gave you the idea and I showed you the logo and I basically talked to you about it, you were just like, it's been the one thing that's been persistent like in your life. And that almost like reassured me to think like, I've always, even when I didn't like the effect of it and I didn't even like cannabis, I still wanted to be around it all the time. I just wanted to have it with me, didn't even smoke it. So it's a weird like thing to think about, but when you said that, that's when I was like, shit, I've been doing this forever. Like, wow, this has to be for a reason. That's when Touch of Love came about. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I can't even remember like the first post on Touch of Love. Like, I think it was like some videos of me growing. I think I edited a video of me growing and put it on there. I could probably pull it up right now, but
You'll be searching for a minute though. There's a lot.
There's a lot, but I could scroll down.
Scroll down.
But basically, like, I just started documenting the fact that I love the plant. Like, whatever I was doing, growing will always be like today. I actually just went by our grow spot, and we've neglected. We've all been super busy, and we've neglected it, and they're hurting. So I got in, I gave them a trim. I mulched them, I fed them a little bit, and I took a picture, and then tomorrow I'm going to go back and take a look again. But like every time I leave doing something like that, like I love it. I love being around that part of it, like grabbing the plant, touching it, smelling it, like kind of smelling like a little bit for like a couple hours after. Like there's something about growing it, I think, that elevates your passion for it. I could say a lot of people felt that way. You definitely felt that way, because when I started bringing you around Touch of Love, because in the beginning it was realistically just me posting stuff for like the first 6 months, maybe to a year. I can kind of give you the rundown.
I think you guys were posting like blogs too, like reviews.
Yeah, we were on the website a lot more. We were doing a lot more like website-based things. We were posting reviews on there. We have reviews from like early on, bro. Like when Ghost Drops first dropped, like all this stuff. So we were doing some, like even the the organic craft, the early organic craft packs. I remember all that, man.
What was it? The cherry punch?
The cherry punch.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I remember
like,
that. Yeah.
That's what we were doing, man. That's what we were doing.
That was
It's
like what,
crazy.
summer of 2020, 2021?
Yeah.
I think it was 2020.
I'm going to scroll for a little bit and just
So
continue to do this here, and we'll try to pull something up and maybe put it on the screen. I can try and screen record quick, but it just started with passion, and it still is that.
It still is
Yeah.
that. It's gonna continue to be that.
It's something that's obviously become busier, and it's something to keep up with. If you guys follow us and you see we post pretty often, we've been that way for quite some time. Like I want to say like almost a year in a way, like half a year. We've really been posting 2 to 3 times a day for the most part.
Yeah, we have almost 500 posts, and we've been posting for, I don't know how long it's been, a year and a bit. So has been like multiple posts a day. Like you can tell by those numbers.
Mm-hmm. And it's also because like our everyday life is involved so much in this plant, so we have so much to document.
It's not like a special occasion for us, you know. This is a lifestyle for real.
We're not doing it for the content; it's being done.
Yeah.
It just so happens that like now we can just film our lives essentially.
100%. And you got a little bit of vulnerability there. Just hopping on, smoking weed on camera, but here we are, and
Fuck it, man.
I think we're good.
We're good.
Right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Right?
I don't think I'll ever want a job that doesn't allow me to do that anymore.
My grandma's seen this. So this was the first post on Touch of Love. Just kind of me doing some growing stuff, trying to film a little video. There's some noise to it too. Like I think I put a Wiz Khalifa track on it, to be honest with you. But this is kind of where everything started when it came to me and Touch of Love in general. Prior to, I want to say we were definitely like talking, and we were like, at this point, like in 2020, when was that? Like when did we rekindle? Like the first time you came back from the UK, and I helped you out with Little Green. When was that?
I think that was 2019.
So it was before, right? Because you tried the first batch. Like this is not my first plant, so
This was you gave me the Bruce.
I was just growing when you were hanging out with me. Like I just had a tent.
Yeah,
I was
bro.
growing. Okay, so you're just around it when I was doing it, but you weren't a huge part of it at that point. I was just showing you everything. Like, yo, look.
Yeah, the Bruce, like you did it on your, like that was the one where you harvested, and like I got to try some of that, and then the next one is when we actually started.
Right.
Like, I had a little bit more of a role.
The Blueberry OG you had some of. I remember you helped. You came over when we harvested that. I saw the picture here, and I remembered. So you came over for that. So
Then we had the Grease.
right around this point,
Then we had the Purple Haze.
right around this point is when Sean started becoming more a part of Touch of Love, and I would say from here on out is when me and Sean basically got together again, in the sense of we had an objective and a goal, and when that's in place, when we're together, it's gonna get done. So I think that's where Touch of Love really sprouted, and we started basically just digging deep. Like, yo, how can we document all this shit? I was sending you pictures all the time. Like, it was the plot of it. And then even just scrolling up a little bit is when we made Soil.
Yeah.
So that is probably like a pretty big point too, because that was us committing to the growing aspect of our content at the time.
We bought a bed, filled that shit with our own soil.
Yeah, I remember that. I was chopping up the video for that one time.
That was amazing, man. That was one of the very first, I would say, experiences like something that we did like with our own hands, you know.
Yeah.
Like we built something.
I guess a part of the story, Parman, I'll let you kind of lead it off because you're a pretty big part of my journey with bringing me into the retail space. So like talk a little bit about you starting as a bartender and then kind of how I came along and things that kind of just elevated from there for Touch of Love, because you and me had more direct contact, whereas before you and Sean were really just hanging out, and I was supposed to come sesh a lot of times and I did it. And like it's classic me. Like I end up having something to do, or I'm in a rabbit hole at home or something. So talk about that a little bit, bro.
Yeah, man. So this was like when I was working at the Grow Up at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just like left that place. So I was like a little bit of time where I didn't really have a job or anything. Put in my application. Let's see what happens. So I sent in my application, my resume. I go to the interview. Shit's pretty good, whatever. About a week goes by. I hear back, I got the job. So for the first little bit, I was traveling a good like hour or half an hour to work. Then the one opened up in Orangeville. So, that was blessed. And then I'd say like it was around October time, right? When you started?
Yep.
Yeah. So it was about October. We were looking for somebody else. We didn't really have a lot of staff. So like, yo, pull up. Send in your resume, Did you send it in or did you just get like an interview? Right?
I get a call from McKenna. Shout out to McKenna. On the evening before I was about to leave. Right? And she's like, hey, I know we talked about it. I think I went over prior and talked to you at the store, and we talked about a job possibly happening. And she said, the owners are here doing interviews. Will you come? So I just cut. And I'm 5 minutes away. So I think like the vibe of that, like as a owner, like seeing that obviously is like somebody that's eager to get into the industry and work. And then I did the interview. I talked to them for like an hour. We were just chatting shit about everything. And then I just got hired on the spot basically. And then I started when I got back.
Yeah.
And honestly, at that point, like that's when I took a vacation. Like I was still working at the pharmacy, I think, right? Because I started, another time I was working at Sean's pharmacy, and I was just doing some work for them. And then I kind of went part-time into bartending.
You get the hours anyways. That was really what it was. We didn't have enough hours.
I was working like 10 hours a week. Like I was covering 3-hour breaks. It was pretty minimal. But it's crazy because that wasn't that long ago. And, I've made my way up. I've gotten into a position that I've dreamed of being in. Working for my people in Era. So it's been a wild ride this far, and we don't really plan on stopping.
We've come too far at this point.
For sure.
Let's be honest, man.
I mean, I don't know if you guys see what we got going on here, but a little something different. So there's lots of things to come in general. I really want it to be engaging. So if there's anything that anybody thinks that the boys here should talk about, they'll mainly be here doing interviews and just kind of talking themselves. I'll be here for stuff like this where we're just kind of chatting and talking about some stuff, because there's a lot of things to talk about in the industry right now. And I think that we all care way too much to when we talk. I think it's unique to people because of our vision on the industry and in the plant. It's kind of funny, the terms we come up with.
Comes down to the passion, man.
Yeah,
for
sure.
That's what it stems down to.
For sure. Another review to do here with that Pemberton Pink from Coast Mountain. But if you've been following us, you know that that's what we do. We try to review product and showcase what's on the market. So
Yes, sir.
I can stop talking anytime. You guys can butt in.
That's probably it for this one.
Yeah, I don't think we got much else to say, really.
We're going to catch you guys in the next one. This is just a little test that we did. We just set this up literally a few minutes ago just to see how everything works, how the dynamics are going. But it seems to be pretty fire. We're loving it. So you guys will definitely see this setup evolve over time. But yeah, that's it for this one, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Touch of love. We out.